The funny thing is, I remember sitting down and getting ready to write something, and then I realized, oh, writing's hard. At least for me it was. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So let me find out what I can do to try and like enhance my writing skills. And so I actually did a course by a group that will remain nameless, and the instructor will remain nameless as well, because it didn't go so good for me. I went and did it, and long story short, I found it even more difficult and more daunting than I had anticipated. And I think it was only difficult because at the time I really, I think I psyched myself out from the get-go, and as the instructor was talking and whatnot, I actually got one of my worst moments actually happened on that, I can't remember. Anyway, one of my worst moments happened because I felt so mortified because it was said to me by the instructor, and these are the words, I remember it, and trust me, it kind of fueled for everything I did to this day. Well, like, you know what, how about you just work or do the story or the narrative to your own understanding. Keep it simple. And it wasn't what she said, it's how she said it. And I was like, am I slow? Like, what am I doing wrong exactly, right? So at that point, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be a writer, forget it. And so the whole time I'm trying to figure out, how am I gonna do this? How? And of course, that same scene could then playing out in my head, I'm like, it's not what she said, it was how she said it. And that right there was something that triggered in my brain. I was like, you know what? I think I'm focusing too much on this how thing, okay? So I'm like, let's pretend how doesn't exist anymore. The word how, forget about it. You want to write something, then write something, okay? If you want to do something, then do it. I'm like, okay, start it again. What am I going to make? That was the best question I ever asked myself, because I said, what? What is it? And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a comedy, okay? About what? Once again, it was a what again. I'm like, okay, let me play to my strengths. Before this company was formed, and they still do to this day, I'm actually a photographer. So I've shot a lot of weddings, okay? Tons of them. And so many weddings that I'm actually sick of weddings. When someone tells me that they're getting married, I'm actually annoyed, because I'm like, you're not going to ask me to take your photos, are you? Because I'm not interested in that. So with that said, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a wedding comedy, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on during weddings that people are actually unaware of, unless, I guess, they're the bride or whatnot. And so I'm like, okay, that's the what. I got it already. Wonderful. And I was about to say the how again, because I'm like, oh, no, okay, I've got the beginning. I have what I'm going to do, but this middle portion was kind of like, what am I going to do there? And I was about to say how, and I said, forget about it. Don't worry about the how. What is the end? And I was like, I've never asked myself that before, like the end result of something that I barely even know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. Wedding story, bride, groom, picture it. I'm like, okay, yes, bride, groom. Do they get married at the end of this story? I'm like, yes, yes they do. They do get married. So I jumped from step 1 to step 3, and that was defining the end. And I'm like, okay, that's the end. Now this middle thing, what happens here? And so I'm going to show you guys my little rudimentary setup, because this right here is actually the way this is how I write down my ideas, because my brain is very scatterbrained when I think of things, and so if I don't write it down, it's never going to exist, okay? Plain and simple. So excuse me for a second. So my step 1 simply was, I had an idea, so therefore I had my goal, okay? Step 2, just jump to the end, okay? Just get to it. See, by doing that, I was able to define what it was that I was actually going to do. I already had my end result, so I had something to work for. And then step 3, all I had to do was configure what my end result, what leads up to the end result. What happens at weddings? I don't know what you guys experience, but because I've been on the other end of just like literally being a fly on the wall at these weddings, so much tragedy occurs during weddings, but that can be turned into comedy. It all depends on how you look at it. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to see something like that. And that is what my middle was. I just came off of a particular wedding where it was a family, a particular family that was very affluent, and they didn't really care for the new family that was coming in, because they weren't up to their standards. And it just so happened to be a female, and she anyway, it was a female. There was the bride's family that was affluent, and there was the groom's family that I guess wasn't up to par. And so for this, I decided, okay, for my story, I'm gonna flip it. I'm going to have it be that it's the groom's family that's affluent, and it's going to be the female, the bride side, that's actually on the other side of the tracks. And not only that, I'm going to, because the whole point of this for me was to make something that would engage audiences. Not only engage them, but I also wanted to take them on a journey. And I took that in the literal sense. So what I decided to do, instead of just a typical narrative, which I knew was going to be difficult for me because that means I had to do more writing, I did a mockumentary style comedy. So it was literally me acting as a cameraman, following around the family, the days leading up to the wedding, and the wedding day, and thereafter. And so that's where From This Day Forward came about. And with that, I still did not do the traditional setup for, I guess what you call script writing, because what I did was, because I was so passionate about what I knew, because I played to my strength, because I knew about different characters that you'll meet at weddings, I decided to say, you know what, it's the groom's mother, she's such a pain in the neck, you know, and this, that, and the next thing, and, you know, she drinks a lot, and, you know, and basically show, like, what they go through. And so that's how From This Day Forward came, and everybody that actually was casted for this particular project were not given a script. The only persons that actually owned a script or even had access to one was actually the technical crew, and they had a script for the technical layout. We knew how it was going to end, we knew the layout. All we gave the actors were bios. And because, like I said, I'm an actor first, the one thing that I played my strengths with acting, believe it or not, my strength is improv. And so I was like, you know what, you guys are gonna have to do some improv, okay? Because I already know how the script's gonna go, but I want you to give me what you believe, what you read in that paper. I want you to bring that to life. And so one particular actor actually brought to life something that wasn't even written. And this is he played the best man, and he decided that, you know what, after getting his bio and feeling it out and knowing that, okay, I'm supposed to be here in the bridal shop, you know, getting the suits or whatever, I'm going to do my interview. And every time you speak to me in my one-on-one interview with the cameraman, I'm going to speak in third person, because that's what he felt as though the character needed to do. And so that's how that story developed. And not only, he wasn't the only one that did it, but that was the one that clicked in my head just now. I was like, that's correct, that's funny, that was gold for me. And so that was my first introductory to writing, was writing From This Day Forward. And that was something that I had to work out. And, you know, actually, it wasn't until years later I actually realized that was my formula. I honestly thought I was just going crazy, and I was just writing madness, and it came together by accident. But no, it wasn't by accident. I was like, okay, I just took out that how and just focused on what it was and why I'm doing it.